So we all want to be a World Cup downhill racer, don't we? I do. What do we need? We need skills, we need a good bike, we need good suspension, good tyres, and good brakes. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and today it's all about the Magura MT5e Brakes paired with the very sexy mdr-p rotors and also the signature lever from Bruni. I do have a bit of a man crush on Bruni. That guy can ride a bike, so I needed to get his signature levers on my bike. But how do they stack up? Let's go find out. As you would know if you're a fan of the channel, I am very picky on my brakes, and I have been testing these Maguras for the last 3 months. But before we get into that, massive news, riders. Danny Hart has just signed with Magura for 2021 and changed his frame sponsor to Cube. Big moves going on. Danny Hart is one of my favorite riders. You never know what he's gonna pull out of the bag. Super exciting to watch. And maybe at Sam's Bikes we have an exclusive here, not so sure. But the guys at Magura let me know what he's riding. This could change because he is going into intensive training now. But right now, Danny is rocking the HC3 levers with the MT7 calipers and the Storm HT rotors. So there you have it, riders, the exclusive at Sam's Bikes. Danny is the man. Let's see how he goes this year. Now on to the review. Full disclosure, Magura did send out these brakes about 9 months ago. They probably think they're on eBay and long sold by now. But to be honest, riders, I've been waiting a long time to get my hands on a long-term test bike. You know, with COVID, it's been really hard. But 2 months ago, I fitted the MT5Es on my Levo SL. Okay, what is an MT5e? They're basically the same as an MT5, but Magura wanted to make it easier to show it's an e-bike compatible brake. They paired them with the sports brake pad, which makes less noise and lasts a little bit longer. They also sell a kit with the mdr-p rotor, which is definitely worth a look. Okay, let's start with the feeling. The first 2 weeks, I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of a broken heart. It did take me a while to adapt to the new brakes. Anyone that rides a lot and rides different bikes will know that brakes are so personal, but these were my findings. So we have 3 brakes that are pretty mainstream, and I know all of them pretty well. So you have the Shimano, and then you have the Codes, and then you have the Maguras. And the Shimanos are pretty much on-off power. So it's a very linear, so you can really get on those brakes and you know exactly where you're gonna stop and you can sit on those brakes. And where Codes are more spongy in a way, they're very progressive. You have a big line between where you start braking and where you finish braking. And I would say Magura are definitely in between, but closer to Shimano. But saying that, I found that my hands took a bit more of a beating than the Shimano. So I had more space to brake and I felt like I had more control, but my hands got a little bit more tired. But I never got arm pump, and I did do some long downhills. So they're just a little bit more out of the hands. And what about performance? Magura are supposed to be some of the most powerful brakes on the market. For me, I didn't feel that much more power than a 4-piston SRAM or Shimano. It felt pretty similar to me, but what I did like is in the room of braking, where I had a little bit more room of braking than Shimano, I felt like I had a bit more control. And as I said, it did seem to take a little bit more out of my finger. And was it worth upgrading to the Bruni levers? 100% yes. For me, they have nailed this brake lever, and I think it's the most comfortable brake lever I have used. One thing that I think they could do is put a little bit of grip on the edge of the lever like on a Shimano, because I did miss the lever once and it scared the shit out of me. And the mdr-p rotors, are they worth it? Look, I wanted them because they look bloody good, let's be honest. They're a very good looking rotor. I didn't really notice a big difference. But saying that, they did their job. You know, like how are you gonna notice a difference between a rotor? They never failed. I never got arm pump. So definitely they did their job, but these are their benefits. The main benefits is it's a two-piece system which dissipates heat better than a one-piece, which in turn prevents the rotor from overheating and bending. They also save weight in the two-piece system. I tested the 200mm rotors because I'm riding the Levo SL, but what are the main differences between the 220 and the 200? You're getting 10% more braking power, which gives you less arm pump. They're more reliable for longer downhills, and your disc brakes won't get as hot, which will make them last longer. And how difficult were the Magura brakes to set up? Look, I'm not a mechanic. My mechanic, Jaime, is a legend and he did it. I looked over why he installed them. And I think Magura could probably do a little bit with their bleed kits, make it a little bit more user-friendly. But saying that, I think a semi-decent mechanic can have a pair of Magura brakes set up and bled in about, I would say like maybe an hour and a half. Riders, a super important thing, bedding in your brakes when you get them. A lot of riders do not do this. So what you want to do is you want to find a flat road that's not very busy. You want to get your bike, you want to get up to 30 k's an hour, and you want to start with the front brake. You want to pull that front brake progressively till it stops without skidding or endoing or anything like that. And you want to do that 15 times on the MT5es because they have the sports brake pad. And if you have the MT7s, around 30 times. So you do that on the front brake and then the back brake. It's really important to do and just spend the time to get it done. And the price, a quick look on Google, and I found the MT5es, a pair of them, for around 160 to 180 euros in Europe, which I think is pretty good pricing really. If you're looking at XT brakes, you're looking at like 230 to 260, so I think it's pretty well priced. I know a lot of riders out there that think the second to top brakes are as good as the top brakes. And I'm kind of one of those guys. But I did speak to Magura and I wanted to find out what the actual differences are between MT5s and MT7s. The MT7s have more braking leverage, more aggressive braking, and more precise braking. Kind of hard to explain, but they're more precise. So with the MT7s, the brake pads and the rotor have less space between them. So the braking, I imagine, is more instant and more precise. But saying that, the MT5s are meant to be an easier and quicker setup. So what could be done better with the MT5s? Look, for me personally, I think the Bruni levers should come in a kit or in a standard package. I didn't really like the fact that I had to change the brake lever, but you know, it was pretty easy to do. And also, it would be nice to see them develop the bleed kit a little bit more. I did hear a few people saying that they rounded the screws on the levers. Look, I didn't find that problem, but as I said, I didn't work on those brakes. And the million-dollar question, would I buy the MT5es? I would say definitely yes. I've been very impressed with these brakes. All in all, I have really enjoyed these brakes. I'm gonna say it like this. You know, for me, when you're buying a stock bike, code brakes are a little bit of a turn off. I definitely look for a Shimano brake on a stock bike, but now, if a bike came stock with a Magura, it wouldn't put me off at all. It would be like, okay, that's fine. I don't need to change that. I wouldn't say Magura is better than Shimano for braking, but I would say they're as good, definitely. If you're someone that likes progression in their braking, but not as much as codes, definitely Magura are worth a look. All in all, I can say the experience on the Magura MT5es was a great one. I really enjoyed these brakes. They will definitely be staying on my SL for the future. And riders, if you have any questions on the setup or anything else with the e-bikes, let me know. I'm more than happy to help and I answer every question out there. And riders, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And I'll see you next week.